Hello everyone, in the last tutorial we went through how to set up SketchUp so you can start sketching, and in this tutorial we'll get to the actual modeling, first in 2 dimensions and later in 3D. Now before we start, if your toolbar isn't set up quite like ours, chances are it's fine as long as you have this biggest one on the left side or up there. If you do want to know how we got everything activated in terms of toolbars, you can always check out our first tutorial on getting started. So how do we start making our model? So right here, whether it's a simple box or some complex geometry, everything in CAD starts with a 2D drawing. This box started with a square, and this cylinder started with a circle. And finally, this Tupperware container kind of shell box with a hole in it started out with one square, but took another circle before it looks like what it does now. So before you make your model, have an idea of what it should look like and how you can first reduce it to something in 2D. How you actually make these decisions will be different and can actually change as you learn to use more tools. So what we'll do in all of these tutorials is show you what tools you can use and then let you go from there. Now let's finally get started. So first off, to draw straight lines, we use the pencil tool. And in your toolbar, you'll find this tool which kind of looks like a pencil. Click on it, and on your keyboard, you can hit L. And to use this, click to define one point, and click again to define another, and you'll notice that a line is formed in between the 2 points that you define. What you probably also will notice is that a new line starts being formed on the end point of your first line segment. And if you want to form a new line, you can always click again to form another endpoint, or if you didn't want it, hit escape on the top left corner of your keyboard to get out. Now, after you've played around with the line tool for a while, you might notice that if I move the line into certain positions, it'll change into a different color. That's because it's lined up with one of the axes on SketchUp. And this is called a snap, and we'll have more on that later. But for now, if you do start a line and you realize, oh snap, I didn't even want a line there, you can always hit escape and it'll get out of the tool. Now, if at any time you would like to delete a shape, object, or line, click the eraser button and then click on the thing you want to delete. Or alternatively, you can click the cursor and then select the thing you want to delete and then hit the delete button on your keyboard. Now next up, there's the rectangle tool, and guess what? This thing draws rectangles. Now click on the icon or type R. Click the start point of your rectangle, move your mouse around to size it depending on how big you want it, and then click again to finish it. Now you would notice that the rectangle is gray and it's shaded, and this is what we call a plane or an enclosed area. And you might want to remember that because later on when we move on to 3D objects, planes and enclosed areas become extremely important. Now nearby your rectangle tool is your circle tool. You can click on it or simply press C, and you know what, the shortcuts might seem like an extra burden at this point because you might be just starting out and you might be confused if there's too much going on, so feel free to ignore them at this point, but once you get used to doing CAD, they might just come in very handy. Now, as this name suggests, the circle tool draws a circle. So click on the tool and click where you want the center of your circle to be, move your mouse around to size it, and then click again to finish the circle. Alright, here comes the exciting part. Let's start making our sketches into 3D objects. So we want to go back to our toolbar and click on the push-pull icon. So that's the little cardboard box with like the arrow on it. Or you can press P. So the reason our sketches aren't 3D at this point is because we did not tell SketchUp which sketch to make 3D. So in order to do that, we hover over, let's say, the rectangle, which is the sketch we want to extrude. We click it, and then we can pull it up or pull it down to give it some height. Now, once you're done with that, click it again and it'll finish. So you can think of extruding just like using toothpaste. So currently, if you look at the circle, that's like the opening of the toothpaste tube. It's nothing but a flat circle. But as soon as you squeeze the tube, or in our case, as soon as we extrude and we start pulling upwards or downwards, then something comes up with a height that resembles the shape of the thing we extruded it out of. Sweet, so you have created your first 3D shape. Check out the next video about some more advanced sketching technique, or you can continue practicing this, and we'll see you next time.